Eccoci qua ragazzi di OGAE Italy, ragazzi di tutta Italia, abbiamo un'intervista bellissima oggi perché siamo con un gruppo che non è soltanto legato all'Eurovision, voi li conoscete tutti perché loro sono gli Hooverphonic ragazzi. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
How are you?
We're very good. It's like sunny weather in Belgium, which is great.
Thank you. So we have Raymond, we have Alex, and we have Heike.
Yes, wow,
Correct?
really
Okay.
nice pronunciation. Thank you.
Thank you. So it is impossible to resume your career in an interview. It's really impossible. So I'm just sticking to the essential facts.
Okay, cool.
You started in 1991. You were called Hoover by then, but then you changed your name because of the homonymy with the household brand.
That's actually not true.
Really?
Not true. No, it's not true. It's like it's an urban legend that is following us already for years. But actually, the real story is that there was already an American band and an German band who were called Hoover, and we thought like, oh, there's already two bands with the same name. That's no good, you know. Like we want to be exclusive, unique. So that's why we changed it. And on the first album, it said Hoover, but in really tiny, small print, it also said Hooverphonic. And it was like, you know, these old stereophonic records from the 60s, they had this kind of stereophonic with two arrows. And the art worker, a good friend of ours, he put Hooverphonic on the bottom of the cover of the album. And we thought like that's actually a better name for us because our music is very stereophonic, very, you know, like very atmospheric. And that's why we changed. But it's true, you know, everybody thinks it's
because of the brand. No.
We actually should sue them because at some point they had like an advertisement
where
they said like Hoover, no phonic for a quiet vacuum cleaner, you know, like.
Oh, that's great. So this is the end of a metropolitan legend. Great.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, then we can mention lots of concerts with, we can say, Massive Attack, Mochiba, Fiona Apple, and then in 2000, Mad About You came along. And I'm sure that by now, everybody watching this interview is singing it. Because everybody knows Mad About You, and from them on, your career exploded, and everybody knows Hooverphonic. So with such a great career, it is quite peculiar, and it can even be quite risky to take part in the Eurovision Song Contest. So why did you say yes to this challenge?
Because we love the Eurovision Song Contest. That's the only reason. It's like, it's something since we were kids that we follow. I watch it every year. And it's true, you know, maybe we're like an indie band or, you know, alternative band or whatever. But I love the festival. It's so diverse. It's like all these different cultures, different tastes of music. Sometimes it's very intimate. Sometimes it's very grotesque. Sometimes it's almost Cirque du Soleil, and other times it's a very small staging with just a guy with a guitar singing, you know. And all these different artists on one stage. I just love the way it also kind of like, you know, connects all these countries, the European countries. And one night we're all watching, you know, that same show. So it was something that I watched for years. And now we thought like, well, let's not watch it this year from our couch. Let's kind of be there, you know, like. And so when the VRT, you know, Belgian National Television asked us, we said like, if we have the right song, we want to do it, but only if we can control everything and we can do it our way. And so that's the answer to your second question. Is it dangerous? No, because The Wrong Place is a Hooverphonic song, you know. It's really who we are. It's not something specially written for the festival. It's just the first single of our new album that's coming out, and we're just participating in a big contest, you know. That's the difference. If we would have done something, I don't know, you know, a very kind of dancey pop track, you know, like very completely from something that we normally wouldn't do, then it would be risky, I guess. But in this case, you know, a lot of people think The Wrong Place is vintage Hooverphonic, and so as long as it's vintage Hooverphonic, no problem.
And that's the right attitude, I think. But you, in many years you've taken part in many festivals in Europe and in Italy as well.
Yeah.
But I think you expect the atmosphere at Eurovision to be very different from those festivals, don't you?
Of course, it's very different in a way that it's a contest, you know. So there is a competition. So that's kind of like, it's stressy, you know, like because like, of course, we last year, you know, release we did actually in the alternative online festival did really well. So now there's even more pressure on our shoulders. But on the other hand, you know, we're just gonna try to have fun and give the best of ourselves and try to perform as good as possible. And the rest is out of our hands, you know, you can't control it. So you might as well enjoy it, you know, that's the spirit, I guess.
That's great. They say not all evil comes to harm, and that's particularly true for Heike, because last year, as the Eurovision Song Contest was cancelled, Heike wasn't with the band. She'd been with you for 11 years until 2008, but she'd left to pursue her solo career. But then she decided to come back. So I would like to know what was the reason for this decision, and did the Eurovision Song Contest play a role in this decision?
No, not at
play a
all.
role.
No, it was actually quite funny, you know.
Yeah.
When we decided to work together, she forgot about it, so we had to tell her. So like, by the way, we're going to Rotterdam, and she's like, "Oh, didn't you go last year?" No, it was canceled. Oh yeah, we're going. Okay, so it was quite funny.
Yeah.
So that was not the reason. The reason was it was in the air. It was in the atmosphere. It's like we called each other for something completely different. We got talking.
Practical stuff, and yeah, we started talking about life, and
there was a spark, you know.
Yeah, you feel connection on several levels, like your musical, obviously, but also on values and stuff like that. You feel you're at home, kind of, and
yeah,
it felt right to then the Magnificent Tree was coming out, was out for 20 years, so there was a celebration vibe as well. So
it was actually, we were calling for something completely different, and I said, Jake asked me like, what are you guys doing? Oh, we're planning on touring on the Magnificent Tree for the 20th anniversary, you know, and Mad About You is 20 years old, and I said, as a joke, I said, like, maybe you should sing it. And then she said, like, yeah, maybe I should. And then, you know, we started talking, and that kind of planted a seed, I guess. And a couple of days later, we called again. And at some point, we kind of found out that it started as a joke, but actually we really wanted to do it, you know, like
and to be clear, it really was because it felt right, because it's not like I didn't have any concerts of my own, obviously with COVID, but I did have a tour planned and stuff like that, and I had a TV show, but so it really was because it felt like the right thing to do.
It's just it's a very organic thing, you know, and of course a lot of fans are very happy. But in the first reason was we just felt like working together again, and now, you know, of course it's quite weird in the Eurovision kind of contest. It's like suddenly we have a different singer this year, but actually that's quite good, isn't it? It's like it's the diversity of Belgium.
Yes.
But you are in the right place now.
Yeah, the right place, singing the wrong place.
But I think everybody knows the feeling of being in the wrong place. And I particularly love your video when Heike wakes up in something like a dark atmosphere with an old bridal gown, and then she decided that the boy is in the wrong place, because that's the peculiar thing. She sings, "You're in the wrong place, not I'm in the wrong place," and this gives a feeling of power to me, of being self-conscious. I think that was my idea. I mean,
you got it really right, you know. It was very important that it's sung from a strong position, you know, like the girl is not a victim. It's like she's just deciding, like, you're in the wrong place, not me. That was kind of the whole idea. But I have to say, the director Jan Boon did a great job with the video. He came with the idea of the guy with the decapitated guy, and I immediately loved that idea. It was so kind of. We always said in a lot of interviews that we're very much influenced by Tim Burton and David Lynch, and so that gave it that kind of extra kind of little edge, that we like.
There's something I read in your biography, that your songs are always the soundtrack to a non-existing movie, and it's true that many of your songs have been chosen as soundtracks for movies, for TV series, even commercials. And I would like to know, you, Alex, you usually write the songs. And what do you take your inspiration from? What are your songs inspired from usually? I mean,
plenty of things. But I gotta say, like I went to film school as a young guy, and there I met a teacher who got us into soundscape, making music with just sounds, not even instruments. And that actually kind of got me going on this kind of like film inspired music. We try to combine that with pop tunes, and then we try to kind of integrate all these weird noises in the beginning, and then in the beginning we were very electronic, And then after that, I started listening to a lot of film scores, and it's no secret. I was always very much influenced by Italian's biggest soundtrack composer, Ennio Morricone, but also like John Barry, English famous film composer, and they always inspired me from when I was a kid. Actually, I always loved that kind of stuff. And then even as a kid, I listened a lot to Serge Gainsbourg, and he worked a lot with Arthur Greenslade and Michel Colombier, and they were very good at making scores and arrangements, orchestral arrangements. So it was already there, And then with Hooverphonic, I just kind of always kind of naturally do it. I don't know why, it comes naturally. I start writing a song, and even like The Wrong Place is a pop tune, but on the other hand, there's always something very filmic. There's always layers in it. I just do it. I don't know why, it's stronger than myself, actually.
But that's wonderful. I think that's what that what gives the spark to your music. You have something more, and I think this attitude has a big role in this.
But it's also like when you're on the road, like we're a lot of times on the road, you see things. Like one time I was with Luca Chiaravalli, like a good friend of mine, Italian songwriter, and I was at his studio, and I had to go to Amalfi for a concert, for a festival. And on the way to Amalfi, I was driving along the Amalfi coast, and that's where I wrote the lyrics for Amalfi. But we already wrote the music in his studio, just la 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 la, like. And I had it on my cell phone, and then on the plane and in the taxi, I was writing this lyric about the Amalfi Coast and me being very much in love with my girlfriend. And so sometimes it's that, but sometimes it can also be like The Wrong Place is inspired by the lockdown. Like we came out of a lockdown. The first kind of co-write session with a young girl, Charlotte Forêt, happened in the beginning of July. And the first thing we said to each other, we didn't know each other, but we said, like, let's not write a song about we miss each other and this is so bad. Let's write a song about everything that is impossible now. Having a one-night stand, kissing people, even hugging people, it's suicidal these days. So let's try to write this song about all these things we can't do right now. So sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that, and sometimes it's memory, something from way back that can inspire you. Mad About You was inspired by Kathy Dennis, a very well-known English songwriter, and I was kind of in love, but I knew it was an impossible relationship, and so we were good friends, and so that's what Mad About You is about. Feel the vibe, feel the terror, feel the pain. I can't fake, for God's sake. Why am I driving in the wrong lane? I was in London. It's as simple as that. I was driving in the wrong lane, you know. I was like, this is not the right lane. Sometimes it's really silly, you know, and then you write it, but in the context of a song, it becomes really serious and dark. But actually, the original idea was driving in the wrong lane. I was in London, you know, and being from Belgium, I was driving in the wrong lane. Sometimes it can be that silly, you know.
Well, it happens. It happens, I think, to everyone. Oh my God. So on the 7th of May, your album is due to be released, and it's called Hidden Stories.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about it.
Well, the song Hidden Stories, the title song, I co-wrote with Chantal Saroldi. She's Italian too, you know, like a good friend of mine. She's a fantastic singer. And I still remember being in the studio. We were talking about what we're going to write about. And our violin player in the band, he was completely kind of like, you know, obsessed with the Mandela effect. You should look it up. The Mandela effect is an effect that the public conscious sometimes completely rewrites history in a way it rather wants it to be, you know. And you have to look it up. It's quite interesting. It's like and I told the story to Chantal, and so we started writing Hidden Stories, and then we recorded Hidden Stories, and it became one of our favorite tracks. And that's when we were saying, like, yeah, you know, like all these songs are kind of the wrong place is also a hidden story. So all the songs on the album are kind of like hidden stories. And it's 10 vintage Hooverphonic songs with Geike singing, very, very film inspired as well, very atmospheric, but also sometimes really funky, sometimes very hip hop, something that is not typical Hooverphonic. But it's an album that we created around the wrong place, because the wrong place was like the first single. Well, it would be the first single. We knew it would be the first single because it was a song for Eurovision. And so we tried to create an atmosphere, an album around that song. And that's how this album actually got created, you know. And I think it's cool, us being a band, it's the advantage we have that we are going to Eurovision, but we're not just bringing one song, we can make an album, because that's what we do already for so long. So it's in our second nature to make albums. Even in a reality where Spotify kind of launches us back to the 60s, where singles were more important than albums, we still believe in all these connected songs being one atmosphere and taking you to another place, you know.
Yeah, it's just like a concept album, more or less.
No, really, it's kind of like a lot of the songs written on the album were written for Eurovision, you know, like but it's definitely, it's all stories that we want to tell, you know, like, and some I strongly believe that we all have hidden stories, you know, every one of us. Okay. Even if you're married for 20 years, you probably still have a hidden story, you know. We die with stories untold, I guess, you know. That's my belief. And well, you know, a lot of songs are like that as well, I guess.
Okay, great. So just one more small question just to end this interview. I know that you were following the Eurovision Song Contest as kids.
Yeah.
And each one of you should mention just one song. The Eurovision song he or she likes the most, or which means the most.
Well, I don't have to go back that far, actually. I would say Salvador Sobral. Wow. I think that's, for me, one of the most beautiful songs ever. But of course, that's now, you know, if you go way back in time, I like Après Toi, Vicky Leandros. Yeah.
Nonoletta.
I was gonna say that's beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it was one of my first memories as a kid that I watched the Eurovision, and for one reason or the other, it's still in my memory.
Yeah, we all still remember Gente Di Mare as well, of course.
Gente Di Mare. Yeah, of course. No, yeah, that's true.
And we, of course, remember ABBA.
And Waterloo, obviously.
Yes, yeah. Waterloo. But Sandra Kim is good as well.
I love Sandra Kim. She's the one who put me into wanting to sing, really. It's
yeah, she was your inspiration to become a singer.
Oh my God, that's great.
Back in the days.
Oh my God!
And the best staging ever was Bugs Fizz, you know, with skirts. You know, I was a young kid and I was watching, and I was like, and my mom said, "Oops." I still remember that moment when the skirts were gone, like,
when
and
you see
and
some
it's actually
more.
quite funny because afterwards there was this ABBA tribute band, what were they called again? I don't know. And they actually did an ABBA tribute kind of gig, and they did the same with ABBA. They were pulling the skirts of the girls actually,
Yeah,
and I was like, "That's Bugs Fizz. That is not ABBA."
A bit confused. Okay, I would love to talk to you all day long. I really enjoy.
Us too, but we're on a tight schedule. It's a pity.
I know, but we have to end this interview here. Thank you so much for being with us. I would like you to say hello to everybody in Italy.
Ciao a tutti, come stai? Sono Hooverphonic, and we love Italy. It's our favorite country.
Yes.
Love. Oh, the food is great. We can talk another day about the food in Italy. That's kind of like pappardelle con lepre. Very nice. Ragu.
Oh, but Belgium has chocolate.
That's true. We have very good chocolates. Yeah, but it's not as good for the environment chocolate than pappardelle con lepre.
Okay. E allora salutiamoci tutti, ragazzi di OGAE Italy, tutta Italia. Ciao da noi.
Ciao, alla prossima volta. Ciao.
Ciao dagli Hooverphonic. Ciao. Ok.